Welcome to Studio
Thank you
Wildwoods.
so much. It's a beautiful, beautiful space.
Thank you.
Yes,
Thank you. Really appreciate
absolutely.
it.
Yeah.
So today we have Nimi Phillips.
Yes.
We've never met before. You came
No,
here.
not officially.
Not officially, but I saw you perform at COPA
Hmm.
in Madison, or Fitchburg technically. COPA is community organizations promoting the arts, and I had got involved with that organization, had been really inspired by the work that they're doing. And they had an event called the Indie Tune-Up, I think it was.
Yes.
And you were performing there, and I was blown away.
Thank you so much.
And so the whole time I thought, I really need to contact you and see if you'd be willing to come down to Studio Wildwoods and record some music. And you agreed to very graciously.
Yes,
I really
yes.
appreciate that. And over the course of a few weeks, months, I guess, you came up with a new piece of music, and you shared it with me, and it absolutely blew my mind. The first time I listened to it, like we were sharing earlier, I don't normally like music the very first time I listen to it. It takes a while to grow on me. But this piece in particular, the vibe, the topic, the overall sense of it, it really hit. And I just wanted to ask, I guess, first kind of backing up a little bit, how did you get into music in the first place? And then we'll get into how did you build toward this piece?
Yeah, well, thank you so much for the flowers at the beginning. John and I have been in contact from COPA, but I never got to officially, physically meet you. So it's been an honor to step into your space. So thank you again. And the way that I would say, well, I've always loved music since a kid. The way I got introduced to performing, it was back in elementary school. Leotha Stanley is his name. I'm not sure if anyone watching is familiar, but he would go around to elementary schools and help the schools put on a concert called Ready, Set, Read. So all the songs that he would write were like educational based. I never wanted to do a solo. I never wanted to perform, but through music class, there was just one day where he was like, stay after class. And I was like, oh my gosh, what did I do? As a little kid. And he was like, I want you to do a solo. Mind you, even in that chorus class, I never really showed my voice. I didn't really even know I could sing, but he saw something in me. Ever since, God, I think that was maybe third or fourth grade. So I ended up just practicing a solo to see what it sounded like. And he was like, I want you to do this solo. You don't have to, but I would love for you to do it. Went home and actually spoke to my mom about it, and she really encouraged me to do it if I wanted to. She was like, I think it would be a fun experience. Some of your friends are doing it. Fast forward, the main concert was at the Overture Center. So I did my little piece. To me personally, I sounded like Alvin and the Chipmunks. Very, very high tone. Didn't even know what I was doing, but I got up there. And after that concert, everyone would come up to my mom and say, you have to put her in singing lessons. She has a natural voice. She has talent. And, my mom just took that in and was grateful for all the flowers I received. And that was that part. So that was the original piece. And then later on, unfortunately, my mom passed away. She had cancer for a lot of years, the strongest woman I'll ever know. And that's when I started getting back into music. So I never really cared about music, doing that concert. Respectfully, I'll say I never really cared about music. And then once my mom passed away, I needed to have an outlet. I used to play soccer really competitively and got injured, so I didn't have that anymore. So it was a really tough time, and I had a lot of emotions that I couldn't get out on the field anymore. So I turned to music, and I just would start writing, even if it was music that wouldn't come out, just to express myself. And then in high school, I started putting out some stuff that wasn't about the grief, but just more fun things with friends on SoundCloud. Not really taking it too seriously, but it got a lot of traction. And so ever since then, I kind of started going down the path of wanting to take it seriously, but never was really there as a whole individually. So once I kind of got my mental health in check and a few other things in line, I was able to really go out and truly realize that it is a passion of mine. So that's what I would say. Yeah. I've always known that I love music. I've always seen it since a kid, but I never was at a place in my life where I could really handle it or just lock into all those feelings until now. And that's how I got introduced with Copa and Dale, which I'm so grateful for.
I am too. Yeah, Dale
you
is
know, Dale's a
amazing.
great
Dale
guy,
Stick,
so.
the organizer of
Mhm.
Copa. Yeah,
Yep,
hats
yep.
off to him and his vision.
Yeah. And then it kind of has just taken off from there, and I'm very, very blessed and grateful for all the people who've supported me even through the SoundCloud days. But now it's like, I'm doing a podcast. We've shot a couple other things that they'll be able to see in a couple weeks now. So
Excellent.
So that's how I got started. And then, did you say something? I'm sorry about the single.
I guess backing up, I'm wondering about the pieces that you performed at Copa. Where did those come from? I mean, I was captivated. I thought they were all fantastic. Many of those are on Spotify, for what it's worth, if you're looking to find your work. Is that the best way to find you?
Yeah.
Obviously on Instagram. What's your Instagram handle while we're here?
Yeah, thanks. My Instagram is Nimi Phillips, NIMIPHILLIPS. That's kind of where you can just get all of the information in my link tree. You'll have SoundCloud, Apple Music, updates on shows. I'm not huge on social media. I'm trying to get a little better at that just to spread the word about my music. But that's where you can find everything. Or you can look up Nimi Phillips on Apple Music, Spotify, YouTube. And the songs that I did at Copa, a lot of those were from the SoundCloud days. And that's kind of when I realized, like, I really want to start taking this seriously, because I'm no longer in that place. And I want to be able to sing, live presently and in the season that I'm in now. So those songs obviously have, a cool vibe to them, but it was kind of just, nonchalant. Let's go in the studio. Let's write about what you want in life. But more targeting like the overall streams or what people want to hear.
Mm-hmm.
Summer's Over was probably the first one that I wrote, which was, I'd say 2023 or 24. And that one was kind of reflecting on what I was going through in that time. But that's why I have this new song, Mending Heart, coming out and stepping into all right, let's get the consistency down. Let's start posting the things that you want to perform. And yeah, Dale, I met Dale through his sister, and he's been wanting me to perform for years. And again, I just wasn't in the right place. So I'm just very grateful that I came back around. And he was like, yep, I've been waiting. I've been waiting for you. Yeah. So
through Katie?
Yep.
Oh,
through
excellent.
Katie.
Yeah,
yes,
Katie's great.
Yes,
excellent.
Yes, I love Katie too.
Yeah, excellent. Well, it seems like the songs do, at least when you listen to what's on Spotify and other places, it seems like there's a story arc. You're getting to know you and getting to know your story, and just sort of tangentially through the music. And then this new piece. So tell me about the new piece. How did this come to be? It really feels like a culmination of everything else that you've put out. And this is sort of the next extension of that. And I fell in love with it the first time I listened to it. I'd love to hear the story.
Thank you so much.
As we've been recording, you've been sharing more and more about what it is. And the more I hear, the more I love. That's why I'm like, we got to sit down and talk about this.
Yeah, of course. And thank you for giving me a space to kind of shine more of a light. Mending Heart is the most special song I've written, and I get emotional even talking about it and of course singing it. The best way to explain Mending Heart is kind of just a timeline of my whole life, because my mom passed away when I was 12, when I was young, and I really was lost after that, as many people are, dealing with grief. And there were just certain parts of my childhood where I just felt like maybe I didn't have as much guidance as I wish I did. And that really stunted a lot of my own growth. And I would go down some pretty, bad and dark paths. And it was just kind of like a roller coaster. I'd be good for a while. I'd be in therapy and then, kind of dip back down. Like I couldn't really come to a place to fully do it, even when it gets uncomfortable. So it's about the grief of my mom. It's about those years in between of high school years and a little bit after, when I was out on my own in my 20s. And like I said, it's been a roller coaster. I've had really, really good, I don't want to call them highs, because right now I feel like I'm at my high. But I had peaks where I felt like, all right, I'm doing the right thing. But all the underlying issues were still there. And so obviously I would dip back down. So it's just kind of a reflection of those times, but in in a positive way, because I wouldn't be where I am today and who I am today without going through all that. Like, it really builded character. A lot of that stuff taught me valuable lessons. I'm always and forever evolving. But I've learned so much from those trial and errors to be in a place today, and mending my heart. So that's what it's about.
That's
Yeah.
amazing. That's
Thank
fantastic.
you so much.
Well, and it was really important or relevant for me, you know, having built Studio Wildwoods basically on the heels of having lost my wife, you know, of 20 years to cancer. And so you're the first artist that I've invited here to perform other than the bands that I'm in.
Yeah.
And I had no idea what this piece was going to be. I had absolutely no idea. I knew from Spotify what your vibe, what the sound was, but I didn't know what this piece was going to be. And then when I first listened to it, it hit because it connected to all of that. And we were talking earlier about the fact that it has this sort of like openness to it. It can be about grief, it can be about struggle, it can be about mental health. And I think that's a really important sort of dimension.
Yes.
It gives this piece many dimensions, I think, which is really cool.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
And I just want to say, you know, I'm sorry for your loss as well, because, you know, this piece is so specific to my life, but that doesn't mean that other people can't reflect. I think we've all gone through grief, and even if you haven't maybe gone through a grief that, you know, reflects this song, you might have gone through just a time where you felt lonely or lost or through mental health. And it doesn't matter what age. And that's the most beautiful part of speaking to you about this and sharing it with, you know, some family members, because this is unreleased for right now. But it doesn't matter who or what walk of life they've lived. It's like you can connect some part of the meaning behind the song to your own life, and that as artists is the most beautiful part about making music. One of the most beautiful parts.
It's one of the highest purposes of music, I think, and I discovered that too, where, you know, and I had discussed this with Candy, you know, before she passed, that music was going to be a big part of my life going forward, and she, you know, wholeheartedly endorsed that and understood where I was coming from. And but it never ceases to amaze me how music can encapsulate, you know, that kind of grief and the healing. And, you know, building Studio Wildwoods was really about creating a space for creating, you know, facilitating creative expression, but also for me to heal. You know, this is just a cocoon, like a little nest to kind of get my feet back under me, you know. So, but yeah, I could hear the clarity for you. And even though we've just met in person today, I can tell that this piece, you're clear. You're very clear.
Thank you.
And so I look forward to what's coming next. You know, I think the next phase of your career is going to be really exciting. So I'm really grateful that you're here, and we'll be able to say, remember when. And we were here at Studio Wildwoods. But, you know, it's really, really awesome and an honor to have you here.
Thank you so much. That just meant a lot for me, for you to use the word clear, because my whole life my brain's felt foggy. And I really do feel like I'm stepping into feeling clear and being clear in so many ways. So thank you so much. That was just kind of a sign for me, even that I'm on the right path of you just using that word. So
absolutely,
I appreciate it.
I feel it. Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for coming.
Absolutely.
Really appreciate it. We look forward to getting this episode out, getting the piece. We've got some great video captured today, and we look forward to getting that out there.
All
so
right. Thank you, John.
Excellent. Thanks for watching. Cheers.